Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome back to our discussion. I hope all of you are doing well. Yes, Pranu, good evening. Jai Hind. Sarvesh, Jai Hind. Okay, so I believe that in the last few days when we could not meet, right? So your studies are going fine. You are focusing on your studies. All the things are going in right direction, right? So let's begin our discussion of the news. So in the past few weeks, there's one Narendra Modi was taking up the review of a project called National Maritime Heritage Complex, right? So this project, although it started in March, but it was in news. So National Maritime Heritage Complex. National Maritime Heritage Complex. So the PM was reviewing its progress. This project was started in March, right? And the Prime Minister Narendra Modi was reviewing its progress. So yes, Sachin, good evening. So where is this project situated? लोकेशन क्या है इसकी, कहां पर सिचुएटेड है ये? मैरीटाइम हेरिटेज. यस, where is this project is right now under construction? Which part of the country? Yes, कहां पर है ये? Yes, Vrinda, good evening. Good evening. So, which part of the country this project is lying? It is under construction. Yes, tell me. बताइए. Okay, historically, which part of the country is important with respect to the maritime site? हिस्ट्री अगर आपने पढ़ी हो, which site deserves it? Yes, Vikram, good evening. Which site deserves to get a tag of maritime heritage? क्या जगह है वो हिस्ट्री की? The ancient site. Gujarat, yes, Sachin, but name of the place? Name of the place? Lothal, because we all know the famous site is at Lothal. And Lothal is the famous dockyard, ancient dockyard, yes, man-made dockyard. It was the man-made dockyard, right? And belonged to the Indus Valley civilization. Belonged to the Indus Valley civilization. One of the prominent site of Indus Valley civilization or Harappan civilization, right? So this Lothal is situated in Gujarat, Saurashtra region. So Saurashtra of Gujarat, Saurashtra of the Gujarat, right? And again, this comprises the southernmost, it means southwestern point of this Indus Valley civilization, IVC, right? Yes. Indus Valley civilization, yes, correct. Yes, Arindam, Lothal. Okay, good. So, in this, what other things we need to see, that through this project, India is trying to revive its old heritage of maritime. The India want to showcase this thing to the world, and again to create awareness among our citizens as well, that India had rich heritage of maritime development, right? So during that point of time, with the other civilization like Mesopotamia, right, and your Roman civilization, Greek civilization, right, different civilization, this Lothal acts as a sea link, trade link. So various trades were carried out from this dockyard, and it is the only dockyard or only port right? And trade in terms of beads, because this Lothal is also famous for its beads factories. This Lothal is also famous for its the precious stones and gem factories. Precious stone, precious stones and gems, ornaments, ornaments, right? So this is famous for this thing. So means the sea trade was used to be carried out from this region, right? So UPSC may ask a question with respect to the importance of Lothal, and again the purpose of having this complex is education plus entertainment. That is edutainment. That is edutainment. The basic purpose of this whole project is edutainment. That is edutainment means education through entertainment. Education through entertainment. Right? Now apart from this, we again, this is the one of the project, because this is the just beginning. Tomorrow what other areas government is planning to add? So we knew this, that during the medieval time also, during Cholas time also, we had navy. The Cholas had port, that Puhar port, आपने सुना होगा. Other ports can also be there. Means when we are reading about heritage, maritime heritage, so what else we can add? So in maritime heritage, this question was asked in UPSC also about this Puhar port, right? So other ports of importance like Puhar, Puhar, Puhar port, right? Then other ports are there, means the ports used by Cholas. Cholas, even in the medieval history, Shivaji used to had good control over the sea route. So Shivaji's tenure. So these are the other areas which you should look at into it, right? Means other prominent seaports. In the past, UPSC has asked the which, why, for which thing this Puhar is famous. So Puhar was the port. So if you come across any other port in case of your ancient history, medieval history, then you should keep a tab of it, right? Yes, Vaishnavi, good evening. Yes, Ashu, good evening. Good evening. Yes. Okay. Yes, Manoj, good evening. Okay, so this was the first news. Next is that recently this Lakhit Baru was in news. Lakhit Baru was in the news. So why he was in the news? What is the important things about this Lakhit Baru? Yes, why he was in the news? Lakhit Baru. Recently, Prime Minister paid tribute to him. Yes, Ravi. Good evening. Good evening. बताइए. Lakhit Baru, in what context he was in news? PM paid tribute to him. So Lakhit Baru, he was the Ahom general. He was the Ahom general. Ahom dynasty is there in Assam, right? So he was the Ahom general, right, during 17th century, right? And he was known for his bravery. He was known for his bravery, and in what context? He was famous for Battle of Sarai Ghat, right? So Battle of Sarai Ghat. He is known for Battle of Sarai Ghat, Battle of Sarai Ghat, right? And in this Battle of Sarai Ghat, he defeated he defeated the Mughal army. He defeated the Mughal army. So that is the importance. Means he was a symbol of heroism. He was symbol of heroism. Yes. Yes, Prutush. Assam King. Yes. Yes, Arindam. Yes. Ahom King. Yes. Pranu. Ahom Commander. Very good. Ravi. Have. Yes. Bilkul. Home Minister Amit Shah talked about it. Yes. Yes, Sarvesh. Sarai Ghat. Yes, correct. Okay, very good. Battle of Sarai Ghat or Sarai Ghat War, right? And this war took place in 1671. 1671. And this is significance in the sense that during this time Aurangzeb was there. Aurangzeb was the Mughal emperor. So means Aurangzeb almost won all the wars, right? But he defeated this war. Means his army got defeated in this war, right? So there was a Lochit Barfukan news. Next news is related to Kooky Chins. Kooky Chins. So this tribe was in the news, Kooky Chins. So in what context this tribe was in the news? क्यों थी ये न्यूज में? Yes. Why this tribe was in the news? And by the way, this tribe belonged to which region? Which part of the country? Yes. Yes, tell me. Kooky Chin, which part of the country? Naga language. No, it is not Naga language. Arindam, it is not Naga language. Actually, as I mentioned, it is tribe actually. Yes, Sachin, good. Bangladesh. Okay, context was, yes, partially correct. Sachin, good. Pranu is saying, yes, Mizoram region, very good. Nice. Mizoram, good. Arindam, nahi, Nagaland nahi hai Arindam. It is Mizoram. Okay, good. So some of you know it. So again, this Kooky Chins, why this was in news first of all? So around 270 people belonging to this tribe entered into the Indian state of Mizoram illegally. So again, there was a protest that these are the illegal migrants. Means this Kooky Chins is not limited to just Bangladesh, because they are spread over India. Means this Mizo Hills, they are spread to Mizo Hills, right? Mizo Hills, Chittagong Hills of Bangladesh, right? Bangladesh Chittagong Hills, and in parts of Myanmar. So basically the issue which was here, because UPSC may confuse you. UPSC can frame some statement that this Kooky Chins only belong to Mizo Hills, or Kooky Chins only belong to Chittagong Hills, or they are limited only to India, or they are limited only to Bangladesh. So that is not the case. These tribes are spread over these three countries, right? India, Bangladesh, and your Myanmar. But here the issue was that illegally around 270 men and women, of course, means people of this tribe entered from this Chittagong side to Indian side. They entered from this Chittagong side to Indian side. And again, the illegal migrant is an issue, right? And again, because as we all know that these illegal migrants compete with the local people, existing people for the resources, right? Economic crises are there, and again, security issues are there. So in this regard, that this tribe was in the news, right? And basically they uh, they follow the Christian religion. Okay. Okay. So service also why classes. Okay. You will get the PDF service. You will get the PDF. Last time it was missed somehow technically, yet it will be there. Okay. So yes, Mizo Hills. Next is now in the news again. This hunger, this malnutrition was in the news. Many editorials came in the newspapers with respect to this malnutrition, and again because of the rank of India in multidimensional poverty index, it further declined. Right, India's ranking further dropped. So the context in this case that what UPSC may ask. Again, you can use this piece of information that performance of India in multidimensional poverty index MPI. Either it can be used in the mains answer. That question can be asked, right, as being asked by UPSC in the previous years also. That how despite various effort the government has taken so far, various policies and schemes, but still we are struggling with poverty. Still the poverty is spread in different areas in different forms, right? So let's discuss few things about this multidimensional poverty index, MPI, multidimensional poverty index. So again, under this MPI, first of all, it is released by Oxford Institute in association with UNDP. So Oxford plus UNDP, and like we have global hunger index, similarly other index, but how it is multidimensional? How it is multidimensional? Because it covers various dimensions, takes poverty into broad-based areas, poverty into wider concept, wider connotation of poverty is being realized. Poverty is not simply having food, having shelter, right, having basic amenities. They consider that in the today's context, the criteria of poverty varies from country to country. And again, as the basic needs of the human beings has increased. Today, if you see that the mobile has become a basic need, if you even look at from the common man perspective, so many schemes and programs run by the government is through your diet benefit transfer, DBTs, and for that government is using GEM Trinity. Government is using GEM Trinity. And what is the full form of this GEM? Jandhan, Aadhaar, and mobile. Jandhan, Aadhaar, mobile Trinity. So if you see this mobile, so any person who do not have mobile, he may be considered as poor, right? Because if you go by the government scheme itself, GEM Trinity means to deliver the government schemes, to deliver the government's services, you need this thing. Means a person should have Jandhan account, a person should have Aadhaar, and then person should have mobile also. How you will come to know that your subsidy is being credited to your account? How you will come to know that your scholarship has been credited or your gas subsidy has been delivered? So all those things is one of the, this is just one of the example just to tell you that how the dimensions of poverty is changing. So this thing is realized by this multi-poverty index, right? Multidimensional poverty index. So again, like is if we see simple poverty, in case of simple poverty, we usually focus on three things. In case of simple poverty, like your health, then education, and your standard of living. Right? So earlier, what was the thing that health was related to your this death rate, or health was related to year of expectancy, that how much year you will live, right? So your expectancy rate. Then here in education, basic literacy was there, that if you are literate, then it's fine. Means basic thing, that if a person knows how to make a signature, how to write his name or her name, then he is literate, means literacy. Then basic health, life expectancy, and then standard of living means your basic food, shelter. Okay, But in this MPI, this health was expanded. Means two dimensions were added to this health, under which two dimensions were there. Again, in education, two dimensions, and then this six dimensions were there, right? Different six dimensions. So, in case of health, what was there? First is nutrition, because simply food having does not mean that you are not poor. The thing is that you should get nutritious food, right? In that sense, it focused on nutrition, not just food. It should be nutritious. Next is that, as you all know, that the child is a future of a nation. That how your child mortality rate is, how your child is performing. So next is child mortality. Child mortality, because they are the ones who are very susceptible to the environment. They are the one who are very, very close to all the issues which are going on in our surrounding, because they are the infants. They are the new ones who are facing this world, right? Whether it's pollution, whether it's malnutrition, whether it's diseases, anything, they are more vulnerable. Their vulnerability rate is high. So if you are able to protect your child, it means your health system is fine, right? Then education. So earlier, as I told you, that literacy was focused, but now, first of all, that years of schooling. Years of schooling. How much years you attend the school, right? It should not be like that you just enroll in the school, you just pass the class 1. At least minimum 6 years of schooling should be there, right? So if you just enroll your name, but you could not complete your class, or simply you finished 1 or 2 class, it means your education standards are low. It means you are poor in terms of education. Next is attendance. Means even if you are enrolled, but how many days you are attending your school, whether you are going to school or not, or simply you just enrolled for the namesake on paper, but there is no attendance. Means if you will go and attend the school, then only you will have learning. Otherwise, how you will learn? So again, your growth, your learning in terms of education, your skill enhancement is again calculated in terms of this attendance also. So your year of schooling should be higher and your attendance should be higher, right? Then in terms of standard of living, again different areas. Means whether you have kacha house or pakka house, what kind of material is being used in your house. In terms of sanitation, whether you have toilet or you are sharing the toilets, right? Similarly, drinking water, whether you have drinking water at your place, at your premise, or you have to travel to tap or to get that drinking water. Means if you are going to access drinking water, and in that journey, if it takes 30 minutes of your time to go from that point to and to get and to fetch the water, it means you are again in poor state. Similarly, in terms of electricity, if you do not have access to electricity, because now electricity is a basic need. So if suppose someone who do not access or who do not have access to electricity, again he is poor. Similarly, the means of transport, if suppose, as I told you, that mobile is the basic need. So in terms of this transport, if you do not have bicycle, right, or motorbike, or car is a luxurious thing, but again you should have certain modes of transportation, then it is fine. Otherwise you are poor. Similarly, there should be certain means of communication such as radio, television, refrigerator, or at least mobile. So these are the ideas. So these are the 6 things which are categorized in the standard of living. Simply house means which kind of house, kacha house or pakka house. So this is about this MPI. So if you perform good on these front, then it means your development level is fine. But in case of India, the latest report which was there, so it said that India's performance is further poor, and India has the largest share of global poor. Means the largest number of poor as per this MPI lives in India. So India has the largest share. India has the largest share of poor in the world, right? Followed by Nigeria. Right? Next is another state was there. that out of 5 children, 1 out of 5 children is poor in India, right? Malnourished. So 1 out of 5 children is poor. Another thing is what this data has noticed, that it is an overall data, not just linked to India, that those households where woman is the head, the household which is led by the woman, they are mainly poor as compared to those houses which are run by the men. So again we this thing can be open to different analysis, whether due to poor decision making at the woman's end, or maybe women's have not been backed out by the other people of the family. So means the level of poverty is more in those houses which are led by the women. Another angle which is shown, another data which is shared by this recent MPI, it says that poverty is more common in rural areas. Around 22% of the poverty exists in rural areas as compared to urban areas, where it stands around 5%. So poverty is more in rural areas. Poverty in rural areas is around 22%. This is rough approximate. And poverty in urban areas, it is around 5%, right? So this is the another stat. And one more thing which they highlighted, that because of COVID, the growth or the progress in eradicating poverty has been hampered, or it has been affected by this COVID issues, right? So people and we can understand this thing because we have seen this thing in India itself, that how people lost their job and how things happened, right? So this is about this multidimensional poverty index, right? Then next news is this is already we have discussed in the previous sessions also, global hunger index ranking, but recently Indian government again rejected this global hunger index second time in the last 2 years. Means previous time also the Ministry of Women and Child Development, it rejected, right, that this we do not accept this report. It has not taken into consideration other aspect of our policies and program. So that way, and again in second year in a row, again this report has been rejected. So what is the contention of the government? Basically, if you have gone through this report, so what you have come across in the newspaper, why this report is being rejected again by the government? Yes, tell me. Why is it so? So next is the rejection of your global hunger index ranking, GHI. Yes. So what is the issue? Already we discussed the 4 parameters, it measures all these things we have discussed. But right now the thing is, why government is rejecting? Because this can be asked you as a policy question in your mains answer. Yes. Manoj is saying yes, subsidies, PDS is working well. Good, Manoj. Vrinda is saying bias towards Western nation. Yes, that is also a reason. Biasness. Yes. Okay, good. Ravi is saying biased. Yes. Biased. Okay. Good. Parameters chosen are problematic. Yes, Vrinda, correct. And the income is not only criteria of poverty. Good. Good. Kiran Moy, okay, good evening. Kiran Moy, good evening. Okay, so good. Basically, see, one point which you have said, biasness, it is correct. But again, we have to substantiate biasness in what sense? So biasness in the sense that as Vrinda mentioned correctly, that in terms of choice of the parameters, the government says that poverty is not just because of few things. It means you are saying stunting, wasting, and nourishment. Again, and that too, if you see these four parameters, if you see in GHI, four parameters are there. Four parameters, right? And out of four parameters, three parameters belong to child only, right? Three parameters belong to child only. Whereas India contains that even in this child related things also, you have taken sample of only 3,000 people, roughly around 3,000 child, right? So how come you can decide from this 3,000, the sample size of 3,000 people to the entire population for 130 crore Indians, right? So how you can decide from this small sample size? And again, on what basis you are picking up the child? How you're selecting? So what is the criteria? So again, India is saying that first of all, your proportional representation is not clear, because which 3,000 people or which sample size you are collecting, on what basis you are done? You are doing some Google survey, you are doing some random survey, and suppose if you are doing this survey in a particular village which is entirely malnourished, but it may happen that there is another village which is nourished. Because again, this stunting and wasting is not just related to nutrition. It can be of other parameters also, maybe drinking water facility, maybe sanitation, maybe other reasons. So it can vary from place to place. So how you can integrate to the whole nation? That is the first thing. That with respect to this child-centric approach, because majority of the data is from child-centric approach, right? Means you are not considering the adult population. The first contention is that you are not considering the adult population. Next is this sample size. That sample size is not there, and again, as some of you mentioned, that you have not seen the development kind of things which India has done. Means already we have achieved the institutional deliveries. Already we have achieved this through OECD program, the nutritious activities. Mission Poshan has achieved so many things. So why you are not taking government data? Because at the end of the day, who has credible data? For example, if somebody calls to me and he asks me something about the government, it again, for the fun I can say anything, or because of non-seriousness, or if suppose I am not happy with the government, I can say anything that there is no electricity, no water in this region. Have you done any sample size? Have you collected my reports, my health reports? Or if I simply say no, यहाँ तो एक ही दिन में लाइट आती है, यहाँ पे लाइट आती ही नहीं है, yeah, I have not got this thing or that thing, right? So again, what is your backing? Because at the end of the day, the credible thing is government report or government data, right? So on that way you should analyze the thing. Okay, so that is the thing. Again, the credibility of the thing. Sometimes what happens, आप जिन पे सर्वे करने जा रहे हो, the people to whom you are serving, they may not understand the requirement of the survey, because they may not answer it correctly. Suppose if I give you a Google form to fill the things, but you all are UPSC aspirants, you are literate, then you can understand the things. But what about a common man? आपने कभी देखा होगा नॉर्मली कोई इंसान को अगर फॉर्म भरने के लिए दे दिया जाए, अगर आप देखते हो कई बार इवन स्टूडेंट्स कमिटेड मिस्टेक इन फिलिंग द दिस सिविल सर्विस फॉर्म और बेसिक फॉर्म इन देयर कॉलेज, होता है नहीं होता है? समटाइम्स यू क्रिएट एरर इन फिलिंग एनी फॉर्म. So what about these poor people? They can create n number of mistakes, and on that behalf you are saying that India is poor. So that is the point where ministry disputed this thing, right? So this is about the means a means kind of question can be asked on this. Okay. Yes. Yes, survey method also questionable. Yes, Krinmoy, correct. Yes. Next is Pokali rice. So Pokali rice was in the news previously. So what is good thing about this Pokali rice? Right? So which part of the country this Pokali rice belong to? What is the characteristic of this rice? Pokali rice. Yes, tell me, what is special about this rice? हाँ जी, क्या क्या जानते हैं आप इसके बारे में? पोकाली राइस काफी फेमस है. अर्लियर वी डिस्कस कुट्टानाड राइस. कुट्टानाड याद है? कुट्टानाड राइस, यस. Pranu, correct. So region is Kerala, good. It belong to Kerala, yes, good. What else? Yes, Sachin, Kerala, good. Nice. Good, good. What else? Okay, no idea, it's okay. Okay, so first thing is that this Pokari rice belong to the Kerala and that to central Kerala, parts of Alfuza and your Ernakulam, central Kerala, right? Then after this, it is the salt water tolerant. Salt water tolerant. It is salt water tolerant, right? It means the brackish water, the sea water could be sustained by this variety of seed, this variety of paddy, rice, right? So this is the rice actually, and this it has got GI tagged. It is GI tagged. It is GI tagged, right? And this is one of the, in this, what is special about this Pokali rice is the way this rice is grown. The way this rice is grown, it is a very fine example of integrated farming. Integrated farming. And this year UPSC has asked a question also about integrated farming. So in integrated farming, how it works? Integrated farming. So how it works in integrated farming? So there is a cycle, right? So how this cycle works? So when this rice is cultivated, right? So suppose rice is cultivated, and this, once this rice is harvested, it's left out. That is stubble. Its stubble is remained in the field. उसको छोड़ देते हैं, right? And on this remaining part, means once rice is cultivated, then fishing. Then fishing starts. Then fishing starts, fish farming, or shrimps. Fishing or shrimps. Right? So this is there. After once this fishing farming is over, the remains of this fish, means their excreta. Their excreta works as the manure. That is their excreta. Their excreta works as the natural fertilizer or manure to again the next sowing of rice. So means this, the remaining of rice, the remains of rice stubble, it act as a feeding. So this act as a feeding. The remaining portion act as a feeding to fish. Means you need not to put extra part. So stubble act as feed. Right? Stubble act as a feed. Means so on this rice remains, these fishings or shrimps feeds, and this shrimps feeds excreta act as the natural manure to rice. So this way it leads to the integrated farming. Right? At the same time, it is environmental friendly because you are not using chemicals either to have fishing and at the same time to have this rice. So it is kind of organic farming as well, right? So this is the peculiarity about this method, right? Okay. So this is natural farming. Yes, remember Kuttana farming. Okay, okay. Yes, sustainable agriculture. Okay, good. So this is about this Pokali rice. Then next is China plus one strategy. What is this China plus one strategy? What is this China plus one strategy? It should not be written like this. It should be written like this because it is not mathematical one. China plus one strategy. So what is this China plus one strategy? Yes. What is this? Yes. Indian strategy of trilateral dialogue. Good try, Vrinda, but Arindam is asking, sir, what is that rice that don't need to be cooked? I have no idea about such rice, Arindam. I will I will just get the information about it and I will get back to you. ऐसा मैंने अभी तक कोई राइस नहीं सुना जिसको पकाना ना पड़े. China, India, any other third country emerged during Doklam crisis. Okay, so Vrinda is trying, but this is not the correct explanation. Okay, so see, what is this China plus one strategy? Let me give you the background, right? And it's very interesting one also because again, if we do not know this kind of things, we tend to think in otherwise direction. So when COVID happened, and when this China's zero COVID policy is there, if you see that recently protest is going on in China, and the people are on the street to oppose this Chinese government policy of zero COVID. So what happened that in this background and due to this, as this virus started from Wuhan and lockdown first implemented in China, so this global supply chain was disrupted. And you know that majority of the big industries, big corporates, they have industrial base in China. So to overcome any such future disruption with respect to supply chain, the industries, the companies are planning to have an alternative destination, right? So that alternative destination means one strategy, China plus one. So China will remain there because if you read the newspaper that countries like Vietnam, India, some other ASEAN countries, they could fill the gap. But it is not easier to replace China altogether. You cannot replace China altogether because China has huge linkage with the global value chain, global supply chain. Already China has achieved a high scale in terms of manufacturing, right? Cost effectiveness, technological improvement. So it's not easier to replace China. But what can be done? What alternative you can do? That as a substitute you can use alternative. That in case if this China fails, then we can have this for the time being. So China plus one, right? So to develop alternatives, right? So alternative supply chains, right? Alternative supply chains or base to ensure continuous production or to ensure continuous supply of goods and services, right? That is the whole idea. And you know that this zero COVID policy is going on in China, right? So it is impacting the business of the various industries. So they are looking for the alternatives in the form of India, Vietnam and other nations. So you can see that that's why it is China plus one. So there is no replacement. So China will remain there. At the same time, other areas are being explored. So that is the China plus one strategy, right? So I think these are the significant one. Last one we will discuss wolf warrior diplomacy. Wolf warrior diplomacy. So what is this wolf warrior diplomacy? क्या है ये? What is this wolf warrior diplomacy? wolf warrior diplomacy बताइए. Yes. Yes, what is this wolf warrior diplomacy? Yes, good evening, Aarti. Good evening. Yes, wolf warrior diplomacy. What is this? Yes. No idea? Okay, no, don't worry. So again, you see this wolf warrior diplomacy is related to the uh, so, just saying Xingping diplomacy. Yes, yes. Arindam is partially correct. Actually, this is the diplomacy related to Chinese diplomats. Chinese diplomats. So you know that why it is called wolf warrior? That wolf has a tendency to attack or to react with aggression. If you look at the wolf, if you just go by the appearance of a wolf, it is looks aggressive, right? Means a normal wolf. So from that, this word is picked up, that wolf warrior means as a warrior, means in diplomacy what we expect, a humbleness. There is etiquettes in diplomacy. There is some a tone of, you know, a mediocre tone is there, that you whatever issues are there, but at the international forum, at the platforms, at the bilateral level, you discuss things with a calmness, that okay, we are, even you lodge a protest, then your use of wording is very carefully done. But in case of China, China's believe that aggression should also reflect in words, and not just in words, even in actions also. That if suppose diplomatically they can block some access, diplomatically they can put somebody in the blacklist, means to take extreme step, means to show that aggressive behavior, that if you raise some finger on Chinese or Chinese government, then we will give you a befitting reply. We will not in violent way, but violent in terms of words, aggressive way, right? So that aggression is reflected in terms of the word used by their diplomats, and not just bilateral meet, at the global level also. And they believe that it is necessary to counter anti-Chinese sentiment, especially in terms of USA. Wherever the USA targets, they come out with double force. For example, if USA impose sanction, they impose sanction 2 times. For example, USA said something, they are further saying many times. So means they are aggressive in their tackling the diplomatic things. Whereas other people may protest, that means they can use some plain words, some simple words, so as to not to provoke someone, right? Not to instigate any other country. But Chinese do not believe in this. They believe that if you will poke us, then we will give you it back. That is called as wolf warrior diplomacy, right? So again, these are the terms which can be asked, or it can be used in your words also, in your answer writing also. You can mention these things, right? So here I am stopping. Regarding these PDFs and all, see, believe what you should do as a sincere student, that you should note down the things side by side. Don't wait for the things that it should be shared with you, or we will try, but sometimes it happens that we as a faculty remains busy, so it's not sometimes easier for us to send everything on time. Since you are already devoting time, so you can keep noting down important things side by side. Otherwise already things are there in the market. But what is the thing is that here you get the things in the crux manner. Here you get the extract of the news, that okay, what all we need to follow. And from here onwards, you just jot down important points. For revision, you can just, if at all in case you forget the news, you can simply Google it, right? But yes, we try this thing that we at least should share these things with you, board work and all. But at the same time, you should also keep writing, because why I'm telling you all these things? Because as a habit, it will be there in your mind. The things which we write ourselves, it remains in our mind for the longer time, because it process in the back of our mind, right? So that is the benefit. Simply taking the lecture, simply listening does not work in longer run, right? So with this, I am stopping here. Thank you, everyone. Yes. So good to see you again. Good night. Take care, and we'll meet again. Okay. So thank you, everyone.